What's up, you guys? Anthony here. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I want to give you guys the 10K per day formula and explain to you as quickly as possible how anyone can hit their first $10,000 per day with branded dropshipping. Now, I want to make a quick caveat to this video that this is a video that is only designed for people who are already a little bit more advanced. Say you're doing your first $1,000 to $2,000 per day. You're doing a couple $1,000s and you want to scale to 5 figures per day. I want to show you how to do that in this video. This is not going to be for people who are trying to go from zero to their first $1,000 per day. So if that's you, go check out some of the other videos on my channel. What I want to do is create more of an advanced video that will show you what you need to do if you are struggling to hit this mark to be able to hit your first $10,000 day. Everything that you're going to learn, obviously, is backed by my actual case study store, which many of you guys already know about at this point. But it's also backed by dozens of student wins. So shout out to everybody. I think over 100 people plus now that we've helped hit their first $1,000 day. Some people scaling to $10,000 per day, $20,000, $30,000 per day. The list goes on. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right. I'm going to try and walk through this as simply as possible and explain everything as quickly as possible to save you guys time and get you results as quickly as possible. I feel like I said possible 10 times there. Okay, so here's the formula for $10,000 per day. It's a combination, or hitting your first $10,000 per day is a combination of targeting the right avatar, targeting the right desire, using the right angle with the right landing page for the correct awareness level with the right format. Now, this looks like a lot at first, but as we break this down, you're going to start to realize, or it should become evident that this is actually not that complicated. There's just a lot of words here, but when you understand what they mean and we break them down into an elementary school level, you'll realize, okay, this isn't that hard. It's just going to take a lot of research and a lot of testing, which if that, for whatever reason, discourages you from watching the rest of this video, then I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to survive very long in ecom. Okay, so let's start first with the avatar. Well, let's say first, actually, let's back up. Let's say that we have a product first. So I'm going to assume that you have a product. That's the worst D I've ever seen. Pause. Let's say that you have a product. Okay. When you have a product, okay, the words that you see here are going to help us answer some questions that are going to be fundamental to informing what kinds of ads we need to make in order to hit $10,000. So let's start in order from left to right. And yes, they build upon each other. So you could think of this almost as a spear, right? And the format all the way at the end is kind of the tip of the spear. But the combination of these things is what's going to give us a spear so we can kill or prey or whatever analogy. That sounded way cooler in my head. Okay, so we have a product. The first question we have to answer is, who are we selling to? Now, there's a lot of definitions about customer avatar. I want to give you the least amount of information on avatars as possible because I think there's a lot of, it's easy to go overboard with avatars and fill up an avatar worksheet and feel really good. But what I want to focus on is the things about your avatar that are actually going to help you write better ads. So here's all you need to know when it comes to the avatar. Everything else, this is the 20%. If you know the 80-20 rule, what I'm about to give you is the 20% of the avatar that you actually need to know in order to get 80% of the results. So from a fundamental level, you should know what age, who you're targeting is. You should know their gender. So are they a man or a woman? So age, gender, country as well. So where you're targeting, because cultures, geography, all of that impacts, the dynamics of who you're selling to. So age, gender, country, and then a couple things, a few psychological things that you want to understand. Okay, what are their current problems? Problems/pains. You could, include that here. We won't even write pains because that's just going to muddle it up. So you want to understand what are their problems. You want to understand what is their dream outcome. And what I mean by that is if they could snap their fingers, what would they have happen? If somebody in the market for your product could just snap their fingers and get whatever they wanted, what would that be? For example, when people join God Tier Ecom, what most people want is if they could snap their fingers and hit their first $1,000 day. Like if they could just snap and have that, that would be great. You want to find the equivalent for your product. And then lastly, what's, let me take my time here, stopping them. Okay. There we go. Okay, so You have the problems that they're currently facing, the dream outcome they want, and then what's currently stopping them. Because if you know what kind of problem they have, you know what they ultimately want, and you know what's stopping them, this is what's going to inform why they need your product in the first place. Because if they could solve their own problems and get their dream outcome, they wouldn't need your product. But clearly, there's something wrong. And what this question will inform to you is what's wrong with all the other solutions? Why is everything else failing in the market? And that will allow you to position your product either through introducing a new mechanism or a new way of solving the problem in a way that will get your customers to believe that your product is going to be fundamentally different than all of the other products they've tried in the past. So that's all you need, okay? Everything else is, I don't want to say bullshit. It's nice to know, but these are your need to knows. You need to know what problems your customers have, what they want, and then what's stopping them from getting that, okay? So that's your avatar. And ideally, you have one avatar, and you only need one avatar, guys, to get to, where is it? $10,000 per day. You only need one avatar. You only need to solve one person's problem. So decide on who that avatar is, either through research. What I like to do is I like to use my competitors' top demographic or top demographics as my starting ground for avatars. So if I see my competitors selling really well to people who are 45 plus and it makes up, let's say, 50% of their traffic, that's the avatar that I want to start with. That way I can eliminate the avatar as an unproven variable when I'm doing my test and maximize my chance of success. Okay, so let's move on to desire. So once we know who we're selling to, we want to know what it is that they want. What do they want to get by using your product? And that's all really a desire is. It's what your customer wants to get out of using their product. We're kind of answering that here, like what's the dream outcome, but we're just making it tangible. We're turning it into something that somebody would say. So a desire is simply I want, okay? I want ... And then you fill in the blanks there with some different desires. Now, when it comes to desires, a desire is something that somebody wants to get. And when it comes to anything that people really do, humans are motivated to action by two phenomenon, okay? And those phenomenon are pain and pleasure. Okay? So pain or pleasure. People either want to avoid pain or they want to gain pleasure. And really all of your desires for your product should boil down to either one of these two, either avoiding pain or gaining pleasure. So the way that we get our desires is to start with everything that your product can do. So let's say I have a pillow. Let's say I have a pillow. Imagine that says pillow because the handwriting's so dog shit. All right, let's say I have a pillow. This pillow can help me with, let's say it's a special kind of neck pillow. Yeah, let's say it's a neck pillow. We'll actually adjust that to say neck pillow, okay? What's everything that a neck pillow can do for your customer? And everything I'm saying is laid out in breakthrough advertising. So everything that a neck pillow can do, this can help with, obviously, neck pain. Okay, neck pain. This could maybe help with snoring. This could help with, let's say, like insomnia, people who can't sleep. And let's say, because it's a pillow that's supposed to help you sleep better, this can also help you with, let's say, boosting testosterone. I think that's actually a pretty clever benefit that we can market. Okay. And let's say there are some other things as well, such as like comfort. It provides people a comfortable pillow or provides them with comfort, right? So what you want to do is list out everything that your product can help a customer with, and then you want to rank them in order of 3 criteria. And we're only actually going to focus on 2 of those criteria because the third one is a little bit more difficult to conceptualize. So we're going to order these in 2 criteria, which is urgency. Okay. How urgent is this problem, or how urgent is this thing? And then intensity. Okay. Which is basically how bad is the thing. So how bad is the thing? And then how badly does someone need it solved? Okay. They're kind of similar, but hopefully you can see the nuance there. So urgency, right? If we were to rank these in terms of urgency and intensity, obviously neck pain, it can be debilitating. Snoring can also be incredibly debilitating, potentially deadly. Insomnia, same thing. Boosting testosterone, little bit less. Like, this can affect your daily life, right? We might put this in fourth place. And then we get to something like comfort. Is wanting a comfortable sleep or wanting a comfortable pillow urgent? Maybe it's more of a preference, right? I wish my pillow was more comfortable, but it's not that comfortable. Am I going to die if my pillow doesn't get more comfortable? Like, no, I'll probably be able to live. Consequently, am I going to die if I don't fix my insomnia? Like, potentially, if it gets that bad. Or am I going to die if I don't fix snoring? Potentially, yeah, if I let it get really, really bad. And so if we just put these two words, like literally list out everything your product can do and then write these two words next to you and then rank everything that your product can do in order of urgency and intensity. And you're going to slowly eliminate a lot of these smaller benefits like comfort, right? Because comfort, while it may be a benefit, it's not something that we want to build the foundation of our marketing around because it's not an urgent or intense desire or need. So then we're left with neck pain, snoring, insomnia, and boosting testosterone. And all we want to do is we want to basically write these now as I want statements. So we could say I want to, and then we could insert these statements here. Okay, I want to get rid, and then we could just do this of neck pain. Okay, and now you want to narrow this down for your product to the top 4 to 5 mass desires. Anything beyond 5, honestly, even 5 can be pushing it. There's very few products that appeal to 4 or that apply to 5 unique and distinct mass desires that are all of equal urgency and intensity. And then the last criteria that if anyone's curious, is degree of demand to be satisfied, which I refer to more so as just like size. Okay, what are the largest mass desires? And neck pain, snoring, insomnia, and boosting testosterone are all really, really large desires to go after. Okay, so that's it. Figure out what it is. You don't even need AI to do this. In fact, AI is going to be a lot worse at getting desires than you are because getting the desires is honestly not the most difficult thing in the world. So once you have 4 to 5 of these, congratulations. You now know at this point who you're selling to and what it is that they want by using your product. Then we're going to move on to, once we know what our customers want to get by using the product, next we need to figure out the angle. And the way I think of the angle is the story that we tell somebody to make them take action on this desire now. So now that we know people want to get rid of neck pain, how can we make them want to take action right now? The example that I always give for this is there are tons of people who want to lose weight, right? A lot of people want to lose weight. A lot of people who are overweight want to lose weight. Okay, why don't they lose weight? Well, the reason why they don't lose weight is because they're not taking action. So why are they not taking action? The gap between the desire and the action being taken is bridged by the angle, or in other words, the story that we tell to that person. So for example, if you ask anybody who's achieved some type of physical transformation in their life, they're probably going to be able to pinpoint and tell you the exact moment, the emotional rock bottom that they hit, where they finally said, enough's enough, fuck this, I'm done being a fat tub of mayonnaise, I'm going to lose weight. I know for me, I can describe to you in detail the day that I realized I no longer wanted to be a fat fuck anymore. No offense. That's for me, personally. So that story that we tell ourselves that drives us to take action, that fuels us with motivation, that causes us to go to the gym at the late hours of the night and just become a fucking beast, that is the angle. Okay, so the angle is the story that we tell, again, to activate someone's desire. Now, angles can come in all shapes and sizes. And the best way to find angles, now that we've defined them as the story that we tell to make somebody want to buy them now, there's a couple of key places to go to find angles. My number one is going to be Reddit. Okay, Reddit is a great place to find these stories, because if you go on oftentimes forums for different hobbies or different communities, lots of people use Reddit as a place to ask for advice on specific situations that they're going through. And so that is why Reddit, if you're looking for stories to be able to tell to people to activate their mass desires, Reddit is one of the best places to do that, bar none. Next, for the older audiences, this is going to be Facebook groups. Facebook groups, really valuable. Facebook groups are actually surprisingly pretty active I would say this really shines in like the 40 plus community, or 40 plus demographic. It's not really a community, but FB groups can be amazing. Another website that I really like is Quora. Okay. And really, we can just expand this out to like, I'm running out of whiteboard space. So let me get rid of this shit down here. Okay. Quora, really any public discussion forum is going to be great for this. And then lastly, I would add to here. I have no idea why there's this solid line. Okay, there. Lastly, I would add to this is probably like YouTube. YouTube can be a really, like YouTube, especially like YouTube comments, can be a great place to source these angles. And essentially what we want to look for in these angles are ways that we can position the product or different stories we can tell to justify why somebody should take action on this desire right now. So an angle that we take, let's say we're selling a, say, I hate to use the cat water fountain example, just because let's go with the neck pillow again. Okay, let's say with a neck pillow, and let's say we're going after the desire in this case of boosting. Let's go with boosting testosterone because I think that's a really unique way to position a neck pillow that I don't really see anybody doing, and lots of guys in their 40s and 50s want to do that. So neck pillow, let's say we're going after boosting testosterone. An angle, now that we know that's the mass desire, an angle that we say to that might be losing intimacy. Okay, or like losing intimacy with the wife, or like we could tell a story about striking out. On a date. Just imagine that this is just the most beautiful handwriting you've ever read. On dates. Okay. Right? So striking out on dates, we could draw the connection. We could tell a story about this 45-year-old guy, just went through a divorce. He is really down on his luck. He finally got in shape, and he gets on this date, and he just completely flops it. He has no energy. He doesn't feel that mojo. If any of you guys watch Kino Body, he doesn't feel that mojo to be able to just completely get this 50-year-old woman across from him just busted down, right? And we can link that back to the fact that it's because, hey, it's because you know why? It's because your test is so low because your sleep sucks. You know why your sleep sucks? Because your pillow is complete dog shit. And thus, you should be buying our pillow. So that's an angle, okay? The angle, again, is how we make somebody activate or take action on this mass desire. Because just because people want things doesn't mean they're going to actually take action. Okay, so once we have that angle, the next stage is to build out a landing page. Now, landing page is pretty self-explanatory, but essentially, once we have a winning desire and angle, the next step, once we've done, assuming that we're doing all of this on the ad level and we're sending all of our traffic to a product page, is to now build out a landing page that uses the same desire plus angle as what we found to be testing, what we found to be working in our tests. So what that looks like is this. Okay, so this is an example. Again, just a quick example of an advertorial. Easy trick to get rid of mice and rats this spring. Mice trashed our pantry. A miracle pouch saved us. So here you can see the angle at play here, right? This person, she spent years creating their perfect home, right? So this is the angle right here. Like the initial lead here is telling you the angle, which is basically this person built their dream home. They had this pantry full of flour and sugar, and then all of a sudden the freaking rats were everywhere, right? So that's the angle. So the desired angle is here, and obviously the desire is you want to get rid of rodents in your house, and the angle is the story of a mom with a new home, or this person with a new home, getting infested with rats, and all this is a landing page that takes that messaging and turns it into a landing page. The reason why you need a landing page and why you should care about landing pages is because the average person is maybe going to spend at most 10 seconds consuming the content on your ad, right? Which, imagine if you went to a car dealership and you told the guy, hey, you got 10 seconds to sell me this car. How do you think he'd do? Depending on how good he is, he might do good, but most car salesmen would probably suck ass. Now, imagine if you said, hey, you actually have 200 seconds, okay? And when I run advertorials for my stores, I notice that my average session duration on an advertorial landing page is 200 seconds. So literally 20x the amount of time being spent consuming the content, which means 20x the amount of time spent reading content that will eventually sell somebody and persuade them to take action. Okay, so this is pretty self-explanatory. I've done several videos on how to make landing pages and advertorials in the past. But guys, this honestly, if you get desire, angle, and landing page right, I've seen guys hit 5 to 10K a day easily just by nailing down the desire, angle, and landing page. Now, if you really want to take it to the next level and see some serious consistency, that is where you want to start adding on these these last few things here. So let's talk about awareness level and then format. So to recap, we know who we're selling to, we know what they want, we know the story that we should tell them in order to make them act on that want and buy something. Then we have a landing page that will reinforce the messaging that we know is making them buy. Then we're going to get into awareness level. So the awareness level is basically the way in which we change how we talk to our customers depending on how much they know about their problem and our product. Okay, so I will tell you right now, well, there's 5 awareness levels, and 2 of them you do not really need to worry about, especially if you're just trying to go from your first 1 to 10K a day. Those 2 are most aware, okay, and product aware. These awareness levels really only apply after you start scaling because they are directly tied to brand awareness. And if you're dropshipping and you're just starting out, nobody knows who your brand is. So these awareness levels don't even apply to you because the requisite is that they know your brand and your product when you're just starting out. Even if you're doing even if you're doing like 20 to 30K a month, 40K a month, even 50 to 100K a month, nobody really knows who you are yet. So you don't really need to concern yourself with these awareness levels. Okay. The 3 that you need to pay attention to are unaware. Okay. Unaware. Problem aware, which I'm just going to put as PA, problem aware, and then solution aware. I'm going to put as SA. Okay, so you have unaware, problem aware, and solution aware. Now, I can tell you right now, if you use my prompts and you watch my content, you are probably going to be targeting, for the most part, problem aware. Okay, so problem aware is people that already know they have a problem but are not yet aware of solutions. Now, depending on your product, you can either, once you have a winning landing page, desire, and angle, you can either go further up the funnel and target people who are unaware. These are going to be people who don't even yet know that they have a problem. Now, obviously, like as you can see based on the graph, the unaware portion of your audience is typically going to be like the largest segment because it's people that are unaware, right? Now, on the flip side, you have solution aware. And these are people who know they have a problem and they know about existing solutions. And I want to say right now, most dropshipping products are actually more solution aware than they are truly problem aware. Because think about it. If you're selling a problem solving product that is proven to sell by another competitor, chances are that product that you're selling that is on your dropshipping site, people are already aware or already know about other forms of your product or other solutions to their problem. So for example, in the cat water fountain space, most people know about the other existing solutions to solving cat dehydration, such as adding water to the food, mixing wet and dry food, feeding only wet food, even cat water fountains. And so because of that, I may need to change the way in which I talk to that audience if I'm currently speaking to them as problem aware. And it's a little bit difficult to explain, and I don't want to go too deep into the context of this video because this video is meant to be a broad overview. But essentially, you could look at it as this, okay? The problem aware market is going to be targeting people who are aware of the problem. And I like to conceptualize solution aware as targeting this problem with other solutions. So let me show you an example of one of my best performing ads of all time. All right, you guys, I want to show you this set of ads here, which is called Batch 4 Solution Aware Test. 22,000 in spend, 22,000 in spend, 2 return ad spend, over 400 purchases on this one test. And let's click in here. So we had a plethora of different ads in here, but they're all targeting the solution aware level of awareness. Okay, and as you can see, we're not calling out the problem of cat dehydration. We're calling out the problem with other solutions. Because again, somebody who's solution aware already knows that there are other existing solutions on the market. So what we want to do is when we're speaking to a solution aware audience, prove to them why the other solutions suck. And that's why my headline is, the moment my vet saw my cat's new water fountain, she said that's why his kidneys were failing. Okay, immediately starts off the copy as solution aware because we're saying, hey, those other solutions on the market suck ass, including the other cat fountains. Okay, so if you're currently targeting problem aware and going after people who are like, if you're just saying, hey, are you tired of feeling low energy, right? That would be problem aware. Whereas solution aware would be, here's why 99% of pillows don't actually work to get you better sleep, or something along those lines. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so just by testing within these 3 awareness levels, unaware, problem aware, and solution aware, you can easily scale to 10K a day, easily. Okay, next and finally, last but not least, we are going to get into formats. And format, again, if we imagine the spear, and we've done a lot of drawing here, so I'm just going to go over here. If we imagine format, the reason why it's last is because it's really the tip of the spear. Because you could, like, the reason why it's the tip of the spear is because imagine if you just had the tip of the spear. Like, right? It'd be really hard to fuck anyone up. Like, if you're a caveman and some tiger's coming at you, it's going to be really hard to fuck anyone up with this little tiny shrapnel, okay? But when you have a spear and you have a giant wooden pole sticking out of it, that's really sturdy and that shit's super glued on there, all of a sudden, this little tiny thing, this section right here, which was previously worthless to you, just by adding this pole to it, is now, you could literally stab a cat like a stab. You could stab a lion through the chest or something, or you could pierce a bear all the way through its chest from like the stomach area all the way out through the backside. Okay, just by adding a stick to it. Okay, so the foundation, in other words, is much more important than the tiny detail like this, or the tip of the spear. Okay, so your messaging, the reason why I save formats for last is because formats suck unless you get this part right, just like the spear analogy. So unless you have the foundation, the tip of the spear is worthless to you. Now, format testing is very self-explanatory, but if you literally go into a platform like Atria and you go into formats and you go into images, you will find a plethora of different ad formats that you can test alongside your long form copy, which hopefully you're using, because I hope my whole channel has proven by now the power of direct response copy. And I'll go ahead and show you one of my favorite brands for getting inspiration for static ads, because they are just, in terms of quantity and quality, I think these guys might be one of the best right now in D2C in 2025. Froya Organics. So these guys do a plethora of different ad styles. If you go into their formats, you can see they're doing 75% images, which is why I like to use them as inspiration for my store, because I only run images. So what you can do is filter by format, and what you want to do is look for formats that would work to supplement your long form copy. So if you know a desire and angle is working particularly well, you want to find different formats, or in other words, different ways that you can communicate that visually to your audience. And the one thing I would say with a format is, imagine the format has 2 goals, especially if you're running long form copy. The first goal is emotion. So it wants to evoke emotion. Oh, jeez. Okay. Evoke emotion. And then, I said it like 10 times. And then reinforce copy. Okay. So let's take a look at some examples really quick so I can give you an idea of this. But it should either communicate an emotion and or reinforce the ad copy. So let's take a look at, let's try and see if we can find an example here. Okay, this is a good example. This is, all right, do not do this, even though it's, do not do this. Actually, I don't even know, we won't use that as an example because that's, okay, here we go. This is a beautiful example of how to use formats to drive emotion and reinforce the copy. So your hair after starting menopause, your hair after using Froya. Immediately, just by showing the visual of the hair looking frizzled or damaged or destroyed, is immediately going to make somebody feel either disgusted or embarrassed or guilty, or maybe not guilty, embarrassed for sure. Just bad. They're going to feel bad if they feel like, oh, my hair looks like that. And this also reinforces the copy because, as you can see from the copy, the drain was saying something. I just wasn't ready to listen. I told myself it was stress or the weather. I told myself it didn't matter, but deep down it scared me, watching more and more of me slip away quietly without warning. So the copy is very clearly about damaged hair, and the visual reinforces the copy as well as drives the emotion. So what you want to do, my favorite way to look for formats to test is to simply study the top brands, find brands, either direct or indirect competitors, that are in your niche that are pumping out tons of statics, If you guys want, use Froya because I think they're some of the best out right now. And use these to get ideas for how you can use different visuals to reinforce your copy. Maybe you're not using the exact kinds of images because your product is different, but get inspiration for what types of images, like this more scientific one of the hair follicle, or a collage, or just a simple headline call out, or before and after. You can get so many ideas just by studying brands. But again, remember, when it comes to your marketing, the format is literally the tip of the spear. And if you wanted to do anything, you need to have a solid foundation. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content as always. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me go ahead and erase all this stuff. Okay. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what kinds of content you want to see next, what questions you have, what topics you're interested, what problems you're going through. I'm trying to upload a lot of videos to end the year. But so if you do leave a comment, there's a strong chance I'm going to make a video on it. Let me know, guys, because I'm trying to upload a shit ton of videos, as I said. This video, we talked about my 10K day formula and the only things that you need to master: avatar, desire, angle, landing page, awareness level, and format. And if you just get one winning variable in each of these, that is enough to get to $10,000 per day. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the content as always. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.